Step into the Sahara, an immense desert kingdom shaped by time, wind, and silence, where the land stretches across North Africa like a golden tapestry woven by the earth itself. Here, the sun does more than shine. It dominates the sky with an intensity that bleaches the dunes and challenges every living thing that dares to cross its path. Winds drift across the sand with deliberate power, sculpting new landscapes while carrying the same grains that once brushed against caravans, nomads, and explorers of centuries past. In this environment, survival is a discipline shaped by those who understand the desert's temperament, people who read shadows, track stars, and guard traditions passed down from generations of desert wanderers. Finding water, layering fabrics to defy heat and cold, navigating by constellations when dunes shift overnight, these are not skills but lifelines in a realm ruled by extremes. Its mysteries aren't told, they're earned by those willing to venture beyond the familiar and listen to what the desert reveals only in whispers. So come with us, and we'll journey into a landscape where every horizon hides a story and every dune holds a secret waiting to be uncovered. Terrain. The terrain of the Sahara is a vast geological composition, an orchestration of landforms shaped by the slow, deliberate hand of deep time. Far from being a uniform desert, it presents a richly varied tableau, an intricate weave of stone plateaus, gravel domains, and towering dune seas that defy the simplicity of stereotype. The Hamadas, broad tables of weathered rock, rise like ancient citadels, their fractured surfaces recording millennia of relentless erosion. Across these windswept plateaus lie imprints of volcanic upheaval and tectonic shifts, reminders of Earth's restless interior expressed on its outer skin. Threaded between these stony heights stretch the regs, austere plains of gravel and pebbles that crackle underfoot and shimmer under the desert sun. Then, without warning, the landscape softens into the ergs, immense sand oceans whose sculpted dunes appear almost fluid in their perpetual transformation. Some dunes ascend more than 180 meters, their spiraling ridges shaped by complex dialogues between wind direction, grain texture, and planetary thermodynamics. For geomorphologists, the phenomenon of saltation, grains leaping in the wind's invisible currents, reveals the delicate physics animating this shifting world. Sand itself is the cumulative product of ages, created through chemical disassembly, mechanical abrasion, and the slow grinding down of mountains long vanished. Here and there, the desert opens into hollow basins known as chotts, salt flats so luminous they reflect the sky like floating mirrors. Towering above these plains stand the Ahagar, Tibesti, and Air ranges, their basalt massifs and extinct volcanic cores rising as monumental archives of prehistory. Within their cliffs lie stratigraphic layers that record climatic oscillations, ancient river networks, and landscapes radically different from the desert we see today. The interaction between resistant bedrock and drifting sand forms a living puzzle, a place where forces of uplift and erosion continually reshape the terrain. Nothing here is static. Wind and temperature create a landscape in motion, where new forms are sculpted even as older ones slip away. Periodic sandstorms sweep across the Sahara with sculptural intent, carving contours, smoothing ridges, and repositioning millions of grains in a single day. Each particle carried aloft is a tiny vessel of geological memory, bearing traces of distant mountains and the ghosts of long-extinct ecosystems. The stark interplay between immovable rock and ever-shifting sand makes this terrain an exceptional field site for studies of planetary surface processes. Such contrasts, brutal yet breathtaking, austere yet intricate, have drawn scientists, explorers, and storytellers seeking to decipher its embedded histories. The Sahara's terrain embodies the choreography of Earth's natural laws, revealing the mechanics of climate, geology, and time operating on a continental scale. Every ridge, hollow, and the stone fragment is part of a grand narrative carved over millions of years, waiting to be read by those who know where to look. And in its sweeping silence, the desert continues to narrate the planet's evolving story, one grain, one dune, one epoch at a time. Geographical location. Across North Africa, the Sahara stretches over 9 million square kilometers, forming a landmass so vast it reshapes the scale at which we perceive Earth's geography. It is a place where geological time is exposed at the surface, and where the processes that sculpt continents can be read in the lines of the land itself. From the gray-blue Atlantic to the luminescent waters of the Red Sea, the desert extends in a sweep so broad it feels almost planetary in scope. To the north, the Mediterranean moderates the desert's edge, while to the south, grains of sand begin yielding to the transitional ecosystems of the Sahel. "11 nations share this enormous realm, each adding history, mythology, and cultural memory to its geography. Beneath today's dunes lie the signatures of vanished landscapes, river networks, wetlands, and lakes that once pulsed with life. For geoscientists, the Sahara offers a near-perfect manuscript of ancient climates written in stone and sediment. Tectonic forces have lifted whole mountain blocks, while erosion has ground others into expanses of gravel and sand. Stratified layers reveal cycles of oceans, grasslands, and droughts that alternated over millions of years. Its position at the meeting point of atmospheric systems gives the Sahara a profound influence on regional climate. Satellite imagery now uncovers paleochannels, fossilized rivers that once braided across regions now entirely parched. Alongside them, scattered fossils and stone tools confirm that this desert once supported communities, species, and ecosystems lost to time. The desert's boundaries shift with rainfall anomalies and vegetation patterns, making the Sahara a landscape in constant negotiation with climate. Scientists treat the region as a long-term archive of wet-dry cycles that illuminate the Earth's climatic rhythms. Its extremes of heat and aridity make it a living test case for understanding environmental thresholds. Because of this, the Sahara is central to global discussions on expanding drylands and the future of habitable zones. Dust rising from its surface can travel thousands of kilometers, fertilizing rainforests and influencing weather across oceans. Atmospheric researchers study these plumes to understand how deserts shape the planet's nutrient cycles. Archaeologists and geologists walk its surface like readers scanning an open book, uncovering evidence of past civilizations and climatic eras. Each find, a polished tool, a marine shell, a layer of hardened silt, extends the timeline of what we know. Communities living at its fringes contribute ancestral knowledge, offering insights into winds, seasons, and environmental change that science alone cannot capture. Seen through both modern science and lived experience, the Sahara emerges as a dynamic organism, continually reshaped by forces larger than time. And across its shifting horizons, the desert invites one enduring question: how much of Earth's story still sleeps beneath its endless seas of sand? Natural landscapes. The natural landscapes of the Sahara form an immense, ever-shifting tableau, an environment where geology, climate, and time converge to produce scenes of astonishing complexity and beauty. Across this vast expanse stretch the great ergs, Erg Chebi, the Grand Erg Oriental, and countless others, dune fields that sweep across the horizon in curves so fluid they resemble a wind-carved ocean of gold. Each dune is a sculpture chiseled by atmosphere alone, its contours shaped by the ceaseless labor of wind, moving grain by grain across the desert. Here, the laws of physics reveal themselves in visible form as wind velocity, turbulence, and sand composition combine to dictate the rise, fall, and migration of these towering structures. Beyond the sand seas, monumental rock plateaus rupture the landscape, their surfaces etched by ancient rivers and sculpted by millions of years of erosion. On the Tassili Najjar Plateau, enigmatic rock art and surreal geological formations hint at an era when the Sahara pulsed with water, wildlife, and thriving communities. Every exposed layer of sediment in this region functions as a geological diary, recording climatic upheavals and ecological shifts across deep time. And at the center of Mauritania, the mysterious Richat structure, often called the Eye of the Sahara, unfolds in concentric rings that have captivated scientists seeking explanations for its perfectly circular form. As sunlight arcs across the sky, shadow and brilliance play across the desert, amplifying the contrast between sheer rock faces and the soft drapery of dunes. In this landscape, erosion and deposition wage an eternal contest, sculpting and dissolving landmarks in a cycle older than recorded history. Occasionally, the monotone sands give way to oases, fleeting worlds of water, shade, and green that appear almost miraculous in their isolation. These hidden reservoirs reveal the resilience of life, offering rare insights into the interplay between groundwater, soil chemistry, and the desert's elusive moisture. For Earth scientists, the Sahara is an unparalleled field laboratory, where every outcrop, dune crest, and mineral deposit carries clues to our planet's evolution. Patterns of light sliding across the dunes create a mesmerizing tapestry of shifting forms, a reminder that even solid ground can behave like a fluid under the right conditions. Wind, tireless and precise, engraves ripples across the sand, ephemeral signatures that vanish with the next gust, yet speak to the ongoing renewal of the terrain. At dawn, a soft luminescence spreads across the land, transforming the desert into a pastel world of rose gold slopes and amber shadows. By midday, clarity sharpens, the air becomes crystalline, making even distant ridgelines appear close enough to touch. When evening descends, the desert exhales into stillness, a moment that invites reflection on the immense timescales written into its stones. In the Sahara, the landscape does not merely accompany human stories, it preserves the chronicles of vanished lakes, forgotten migrations, and civilizations swallowed by sand. Light and shadow act as cartographers here, continually redrawing the contours of the land as the sun makes its arc. Color appears where one least expects it: mineral vein, wind-carved cliffs, hidden wetland pockets, each revealing a secret facet of an environment often misjudged as barren. In these rare oases, water shimmers like glass, vegetation unfurls like emerald filigree, and the contrast with the surrounding dunes feels almost mythical. The Sahara's natural landscapes invite awe not through grandeur alone, but through the deep, layered stories inscribed across every stone and ripple. Each step taken across this terrain crosses thresholds of time, connecting the present to epochs long erased from memory. Here, the desert becomes an epic canvas, light, wind, and stone collaborating in a timeless performance that continues to evolve with every shifting grain. And in this vast, ancient realm, the Sahara tells a story of endurance and transformation, a story written not in words, but in landscapes shaped across eternity. Climate and weather. The climate of the Sahara is a vast atmospheric crucible, an arena where the planet's most extreme forces converge in a spectacle of heat, wind, and shimmering light. Under a sun that feels almost metallic in its intensity, daytime temperatures frequently surge past 50 degrees Celsius, turning the desert floor into a radiant sheet of heat. The air trembles with mirages that bend color and distance, creating phantom lakes, drifting shapes, and horizons that seem to dissolve into liquid silver. But the moment dusk unfurls across the dunes, the desert undergoes a startling metamorphosis. Warmth evacuates the sand with astonishing speed, allowing a nocturnal chill to settle in, sharp, sudden, almost lunar in its austerity. This dramatic diurnal swing is one of the Sahara's defining signatures, a thermal pendulum that governs every form of life brave enough to endure it. Rainfall, when it graces the land, is less an event than an apparition, brief, delicate, and swiftly swallowed by a thirsty earth. In the hyperarid core, Yearly precipitation may amount to only a few millimeters, reinforcing the desert's reputation as a realm sculpted by scarcity. Yet toward the Mediterranean rim and the Sahel's transitional belt, the atmosphere softens, offering faint but life-giving seasonal rains. These subtle atmospheric allowances carve out microclimates, small ecological sanctuaries where palms, grasses, and desert fauna cling to precious moisture. Meanwhile, dust storms can rise without warning, lifting thousands of tons of fine particles into the sky until the boundary between land and atmosphere disappears. These storms are both destroyers and couriers, reshaping dunes while ferrying Sahara dust across continents to nourish distant forests and oceans. Survival here requires exquisite adaptation. Plants orient to minimize exposure, animals burrow or hunt by night, and nomadic cultures read the desert's moods like an ancestral manuscript. Sunlight, unfiltered by cloud, saturates the land with fierce radiation, granting the Sahara some of the highest solar exposures on Earth. This intense radiative energy fuels thermal currents that shape not only local weather patterns, but also atmospheric systems beyond the continent. Travelers often leave the Sahara with a sense of reverence, as though they have encountered a force older and more uncompromising than civilization itself. The desert's weather behaves less like a climate and more like a sculptor, continually carving its signature into stone, sand, and sky. Its extremes speak of a world in perpetual negotiation between abundance and absence, illumination and void. For communities who inhabit its margins, every gust, cloud, and shift in light is part of a seasonal dialogue that has guided generations. And in the fusion of heat, cold, dust, and brilliance, the Sahara's climate reveals a profound truth. Endurance here is not merely survival, it is a testament to life's astonishing adaptability. Characteristic flora and fauna. In a landscape defined by heat, scarcity, and silence, the flora and fauna of the Sahara stand as astonishing demonstrations of life's will to persist. The vegetation here is a portrait of resilience, each species a specialist crafted by millennia of unrelenting drought. Acacia trees rise on the horizon like ancient guardians, their thorned branches stretching skyward as though defying the desert's severity. Date palms, nurtured carefully within oases, offer shade, sustenance, and a cultural lifeline for communities who have relied on their fruit for centuries. Along dry riverbeds, tamarisks and hardy desert shrubs anchor themselves deep into the soil, tapping hidden veins of moisture that most plants could never reach. Every green silhouette, no matter how small, feels like a quiet miracle, an affirmation that even the harshest environments can cradle life. The Sahara's wildlife mirrors this ingenuity, revealing nature's extraordinary toolkit for survival in extreme heat and near-total aridity. The addax antelope glides across dunes with ethereal grace, its pale coat reflecting sunlight and conserving precious energy. Dromedary camels, indispensable to nomadic cultures and trade routes for thousands of years, carry water, goods, and memories across the sands with unmatched endurance. Reptiles such as monitor lizards and sand vipers move with precision and stealth, having perfected the art of surviving a landscape where shade itself can be a luxury. Amid rocky slopes, small mammals and ground-nesting birds navigate the environment with intricate behaviors designed to conserve every drop of moisture. When darkness falls, nocturnal life stirs beneath a canopy of stars, eyes glinting as creatures emerge to forage in the cool safety of night. Even the dunes conceal hidden ecologies, tiny beetles, ants, and microorganisms weaving a delicate web of life beneath the shifting sand. Each species represents a chapter in an ancient survival narrative, a chronicle of adaptation recorded not on paper but in behavior, anatomy, and instinct. Together, flora and fauna form an ecosystem calibrated to balance scarcity and abundance, fragility and persistence. Plants offer nourishment, shelter, and shade, sustaining animals and, in turn, benefiting from their movements and seed dispersal. Here, the rhythm of life is austere yet profound, shaped by scarcity but enriched by resilience. Visitors who encounter these species often leave with a profound admiration for their quiet tenacity, a reverence that moves beyond science into something deeply personal. History and important events. The Sahara's historical tapestry is vast and intricate, shaped by civilizations that once carved pathways through its immensity and left their imprints in its shifting sands. Long before modern borders existed, immense caravans crossed these dunes, forging arteries of exchange that connected West African kingdoms with Mediterranean ports and Arabian centers of scholarship. Along these routes, gold, salt, textiles, and stories moved in equal measure, transforming the desert into a cultural thoroughfare rather than a barrier. Today, scattered ruins of caravanserais and defensive outposts still rise from the sand like half-remembered verses from an ancient epic. Rock art panels, inscriptions carved in forgotten scripts, and burial mounds woven into the landscape reveal how early peoples adapted ingeniously to the extremes around them. Layers of sediment and mineral crusts record a time when this region was lush with rivers, wetlands, and vibrant ecosystems, a stark contrast to its present vastness. Fossils retrieved from dry wadis tell of hippos, crocodiles, and migratory herds, offering scientific proof that the Sahara once teemed with life, now long erased. Centuries later, European explorers ventured into this formidable realm, mapping its contours, documenting its cultures, and unveiling its scientific riddles to the wider world. In the end, the Sahara remains a monumental archive, its past preserved in dunes, rock faces, and ruins, a place where natural forces and human endeavor have conspired to create one of Earth's most enduring legacies. Humans and scientific research. The human presence in the Sahara is a multi-layered narrative, shaped by centuries of endurance, exploration, and the pursuit of understanding. For millennia, nomadic groups such as the Tuareg have traversed this vast expanse, guided not by maps but by inherited wisdom refined across generations. Their knowledge of star paths, hidden aquifers, and the subtle language of dunes constitutes one of the world's most sophisticated desert survival systems. Petroglyphs and cave murals scattered across the region offer poignant glimpses into epochs when the Sahara teemed with rivers, wildlife, and thriving human communities. In modern times, the desert has become a magnet for scientific inquiry, a colossal open-air laboratory where planetary processes unfold in stark clarity. Geologists interpret exposed strata and sculpted rock faces as chapters in a deep-time chronicle of shifting climates and vanished landscapes. Climatologists analyze the Sahara's thermal extremes and dust-laden winds, tracing their influence on global atmospheric circulation. Archaeologists unearth remnants of ancient settlements, decoding the ingenious adaptive strategies of early inhabitants who negotiated dramatic environmental upheavals. Its remote plateaus and crystalline skies have also rendered the Sahara a sanctuary for astronomical observation, unmarred by light pollution or atmospheric haze. Researchers deploy seismic sensors, atmospheric instruments, and autonomous climate stations, capturing data that deepens our understanding of Earth's dynamic systems. These scientific missions often rely on the complementary expertise of desert guides, whose ancestral insights bridge the gap between empirical data and lived experience. Nomadic knowledge, rooted in oral tradition, provides nuances about seasonal winds, migratory paths, and the desert's shifting topography that no satellite can fully reveal. Each discovery unearthed in the Sahara, whether fossil, artifact, or climatic signature, advances the tapestry of humanity's geological and cultural history. The sheer difficulty of operating in such an unforgiving environment amplifies the sense of discovery, turning every breakthrough into a triumph of perseverance. Research here demands interdisciplinary precision, uniting geology, climatology, archaeology, ecology, and anthropology in a single investigative frontier. Findings from this region inform global climate models, offering critical insights into desertification and the future resilience of arid ecosystems. Fieldwork becomes a meditation on time itself, as every sample collected reflects processes unfolding across thousands or millions of years. What appears to outsiders as desolation is, to scientists, an immense repository of natural archives awaiting interpretation. In the Sahara, knowledge emerges from a dialogue between modern science and ancestral intelligence, each illuminating the other. And within this vast elemental landscape, humanity's quest to understand the desert becomes a testament to our enduring curiosity and our capacity to learn from even the most formidable environments. Experiences and adventure, tourism. For those drawn to the edges of the known world, the Sahara offers not simply a destination, but an initiation, an immersion into a realm where science, culture, and raw wilderness converge. A 3-day passage through this environment unfolds like a living manuscript, every hour revealing a new chapter in survival, geology, and human resilience. At dawn, as the dunes blush with rose-gold light, caravans move in deliberate rhythm, mirroring the ancient nomadic routes that once stitched together empires. Travelers carry only the essentials: rationed water in heat-proof containers, multi-layered clothing engineered for thermal extremes, and solar-charged instruments to navigate a landscape without landmarks. Veteran desert guides insist on a precise balance of insulation and breathability, a technique that shields wanderers from the blazing midday furnace and the sharp crystalline chill that claims the night. When winds gather and sculpt spirals of airborne sand, one witnesses the desert's most dramatic performance, a sandstorm rising like a living organism, fierce and unpredictable. To scientists, these tempests are open-air laboratories, offering real-time insight into atmospheric turbulence, dust transport, and sediment displacement. Between storms, explorers pause to read the dunes, each ridge, ripple, and crest a signature of the winds that shaped them, a delicate script written in grains of quartz. Unexpectedly, oases surface like visions made tangible, where date palms, tamarisks, and pockets of water form biological sanctuaries in the midst of austerity. Local Tuareg guides weave legend with empirical knowledge, sharing lore refined over centuries and complementing the precision of modern science. During the height of the afternoon, wanderers retreat to shades cast by jagged rocks or desert shrubs, studying formations carved by epochs of uplift and erosion. It is here, in the stillness, that geology becomes alive, thermal expansion, mineral breakdown, and the mechanics of erosion all visible in their purest expressions. As twilight deepens, the Sahara unveils one of Earth's purest celestial displays, a sky so unpolluted that the Milky Way seems to pour across the heavens like a river of light. Astronomers cherish this atmosphere, where the crisp, dry air sharpens every constellation and turns stargazing into a contemplative, almost spiritual act. Night camps shimmer with firelight, where folklore and scientific theory intermingle, stories of migrating dunes, vanished lakes, and ancient climates drifting into the desert air. Every hour spent here tests endurance. Dehydration edges close, winds strip warmth from the body, and the desert's silence presses with surprising weight. Yet preparedness transforms hardship into revelation, and each challenge becomes part of the desert's profound instruction in resourcefulness. Encounters with the land, its stone strata, its biological adaptations, its shifting surfaces, offer insights that textbooks alone could never provide. Travelers return, not only with memories, but with sharpened instincts, richer perspective, and a more intimate connection to Earth's deep history. Such an expedition becomes a calling, an invitation to continue exploring the planet's vast frontiers with curiosity sharpened and senses awakened. Layered through the adventure is the Sahara's human legacy. Caravan trails of gold and salt, abandoned settlements, and cultures forged by relentless climate. Adventure tourism here turns into something closer to pilgrimage, where the vastness of the desert becomes a mirror for inner landscapes. Each encounter with its silence deepens awareness of nature's rhythms, of time's immensity, of humanity's fragile place in the world. The Sahara teaches with few words, revealing beauty through austerity and meaning through endurance. Its presence, solemn, luminous, and unyielding, invites reflection on the threads that connect life, land, and memory. And as the final sunset sinks behind the dunes, the desert whispers stories of creation and change, its voice carved from wind and time. In every grain of sand and every fossilized ridge lies a chapter of Earth's epic narrative waiting for the Ani. Conclusion. The Sahara is never merely a desert. It is an immense chronicle of Earth's imagination, a living sculpture shaped by forces that have worked in silence for millions of years. Across its migrating dunes and sun-hammered plateaus, the landscape reveals how wind, heat, and time collaborate to carve a world both brutal and breathtaking. Life here, rooted deep in the sand or roaming tirelessly across it, embodies a precision of adaptation that borders on the miraculous. Threaded through the desert's forgotten pathways and eroded stone sanctuaries is a human story where myth, memory, and science intertwine. For researchers, the Sahara is an open-air archive offering evidence of climate shifts, vanished lakes, and civilizations that once flourished where now only silence remains. To venture into this vastness is to confront nature at its most elemental, a place where endurance is not an act of strength, but a philosophy of survival. Three days beneath its searing sun and crystalline night sky reveal contrasts so sharp they feel almost extraterrestrial. And when the wind murmurs through the dunes, carrying fragments of ancient worlds, it becomes clear that the Sahara's greatest secrets still lie half buried, waiting for those who dare to listen.